They don't listen when you speak from desperation. They don't see you when you beg to be noticed. And no matter how hard you chase, they keep slipping further away. But then something strange happens. You stop. You turn inward. You pull back. Not to punish, but to preserve yourself. And suddenly, they notice. They listen. They follow. It almost feels like magic. But it's not magic. It's power. And Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Men are driven more by fear of loss than hope of gain. Niccolo Machiavelli, when you stop chasing, you shift the entire balance of power, because what you no longer need starts to need you. Let me ask you something. How many times have you tried to prove your worth to someone who barely looked up? How many nights have you spent rehearsing the perfect message, only to be left on read? You tried to be everything they wanted, the listener, the giver, the one who always shows up. But the more you gave, the more they drifted, and the silence hurt more than the rejection, because at least rejection is clear. But indifference? Indifference makes you question your value. You start wondering if you're just too much, too emotional, too intense, too available. But the truth is harsher than that. They didn't lose interest because you were too much. They lost interest because you were always there. Niccolo Machiavelli, the infamous mind behind The Prince, was not just a political strategist. He was a master of human nature. He didn't write to be liked. He wrote to be understood. And in doing so, he uncovered a brutal truth. The one who is feared commands more than the one who is loved. That's not a call to cruelty. It's a reminder that people respect boundaries more than availability. Desire thrives in space, and power grows in restraint. Even modern psychology confirms this. According to the law of scarcity, we place more value on what is less available. You've seen it yourself. The text you don't send, the meeting you cancel, the invitation you don't chase. Suddenly, you're not invisible. You're a mystery, and people are drawn to mystery more than they are to access. If this is hitting a little too close to home, that's because you're waking up to your own power. You're remembering what you forgot in the chase, that you are the prize. You've just been acting like the pursuer. And if this reflection is stirring something real in you, something honest and raw and overdue, then maybe this is a conversation worth continuing. So pause for a second, like this video, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me, what are you done chasing? Because this is where the shift begins. Let me tell you a story. There once was a lion who spent his days chasing gazelles. He was the fastest, the fiercest, but the harder he chased, the more exhausted he became. The gazelles learned to run, to sense his approach, to stay just out of reach, until one day the lion stopped running. He lay in the tall grass, still, silent, watching, and the gazelles didn't know what to do. Some wandered closer, some stayed frozen, but all of them were suddenly aware of him in a way they never were before. Because the one who chases is predictable, but the one who waits commands presence. That's the twist. Control isn't about chasing, it's about stillness. It's about choosing who gets access and who doesn't, and that choice makes you dangerous. Let's bring this down to something simple you can do right now. Think of someone you've been trying too hard with. Maybe it's a romantic interest, a job opportunity, a friend who always takes and never gives back. Now for the next 48 hours, don't initiate, don't explain, don't seek. Withdraw with dignity, not out of bitterness, not out of revenge, but out of self-respect. Let the silence speak. Let your absence do the talking. You might be surprised by what returns to you, or you might be freed from what was never real to begin with. Either way, you win. This is not about manipulation. This is about memory, remembering who you are before the world taught you to beg for attention, before you were trained to prove your worth in the currency of overgiving. You were never meant to chase people. You were meant to choose them. From a place of wholeness, from a position of power. You are not a servant to approval. You are not a puppet dancing for validation. You are the author of your energy, and where your energy flows, value follows. So stop throwing your pearls at people who can't recognize them. Stop trying to explain your light to those who live in darkness. And stop diluting your power just to fit into spaces that don't honor it. You were never too much. You were just in the wrong rooms. Rooms that required you to shrink just to be seen. Rooms that rewarded your silence and punished your boundaries. But here's what they didn't expect. That one day, you'd stop explaining yourself. That you'd reclaim your stillness, your distance, your dignity. And when that day comes, when it really comes, they will feel it. In the silence, in the pull, in the way your absence echoes louder than your presence ever did. Because the moment you stop chasing is the moment they start obeying. Not out of fear, not out of force, but out of recognition. Recognition of the power you were carrying all along. If this spoke to you, if you felt your soul lean forward even once, then don't let it end here. Subscribe for more content like this. Stories that awaken your truth. Philosophy that gives you permission to be powerful. And conversations that remind you were never meant to beg. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to stop chasing, and drop a comment below. I choose stillness, because that's where the power begins. And once you find it, you never give it away again.